Our first speakers are Johanna Garcia and Senator Robert Jackson. Johanna is from Washington Heights, a longtime parent advocate with NYC Opt-Out and NYSAPE, New York State Allies for Public Education. She is now Chief of Staff to Senator Jackson. Senator Jackson is the person who sued the state in 1993 and won in court for the money that our schools need. We're still fighting that. And he has been an advocate for decades on public education. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Hello, everyone. Are you ready to fight? Are you ready to fight for our children? Well, I know that I can see you, and way in the back, I hope you can see me. I know you can hear me. Can you hear me in the back? So, Johanna Garcia was introduced as my Chief of Staff. But in reality, she's a full partner in fighting for education funding and equity for all of the children, not only in New York City, but New York State. So give her a hand, let me tell you. And so I want to talk about three things. One, school funding is a great equalizer. How many of you believe that school funding is a great equalizer? Raise your hand. Well, I tell you, it is true. And I say that because going back when I was in high school, my track coach put an application in my hand for Upward Bound. How many of you heard of Upward Bound programs? Raise your hand. Good. And then I had the opportunity to go to college through the EOP program. You know what that is, right? Educational Opportunity Program. And so that was an equalizer for me. But for our children, majority of the school children in New York City are black and brown. Let me call it like it is. The lawsuit that was filed on behalf of the children was about funding equity for the children of New York City. 1.1 million children. And in fact, I say to all of you, I claim your children as my children, because that's the fight up in Albany. So it's about funding, and the lawsuit that was filed in 1993, we filed two claims. One, they were discriminating against us because the children in New York City was 84% people of color. And then our second claim was that the state of New York discriminated against us in the formula. They backloaded the formula every single year to give us the same percentage amount, with the exception of 1 year. We got 1/10 of 1% more. And we filed that lawsuit, Michael Rebell, and we won on behalf of the children of New York City. And you may say, well, what did we win? Well, $11 billion in capital is nothing to sneeze about, let me tell you that. And that's to build new schools and make major repairs. And $5.5 billion in expense money to hire teachers, guidance counselors, intervention specialists, all of the things that we need to ensure our children have the opportunity for a sound basic education. And let me just ask a quick question. And I want you to raise your hand if you truly believe. How many of you in the audience, and I'm going to walk toward the back a little bit, how many of you want your children to receive a sound basic education? Raise your hand. And you know what I say? I've already fooled you already. Because I said, no, you don't. You don't want that. That's the minimum standard that the state, it says that you're guaranteed. And let me say that you want a great education for your kids. You know what the court said the minimum standard was? Every child should have the opportunity to graduate from high school knowing how to read, knowing how to write, knowing how to serve on a jury, and being able to hold competitive employment. Not repetitive employment as far as flipping burgers, but competitive employment. So this fight is about equity for the children of New York State. And we need you to get involved as parents. How many of you are involved in your children's education at the school level, at the school leadership team, or the CECs? Raise your hand. Good. Now, we need more of you to raise your hand. And one thing I say about you is, know the rules of the game. If you don't know the rules of the game, you will be used in that process. And so if you're involved in a parents association, know the bylaws, know Robert Rules of Order in any group or organization you belong to. And if you don't know, ask questions. No question is a dumb question. Let me say that to you. So how much is 1 and 1? No, I'm joking. But no, parent involvement is extremely important. That's how I got started. I got started at PSI's 187, where there were 33 members on the executive committee. And the majority of those people were white women. And you know what they did? They brought me in, and they schooled me, and they educated me as a member of the executive committee. So I was on the executive committee, then I became chairman of the Ways and Means Committee. Ways and Means is what? Money. And then vice president, president. And when we used to have someone on the school board that represented us, that individual was not going to run again. And they said, I didn't raise my hand and say, listen, I'm on the run. I want you to support me. They said to me, we're going to run you for the school board. And I ran, and I won, and I represented not only my school, but the entire district. And the lawsuit was about equity, about giving our children the money and the resources that they needed in order to make sure they get that education. But let me say to you, school governance is extremely important. And that's what that hearing yesterday, 5.5 hours with John Liu, was about. It was about governance of our school system, and we wanted change. Let me turn it over to Johanna Garcia, the president of CEC 6, the former president of the President's Council, Johanna Garcia.
So Robert and I are a little bit like the yin-yang. He has his energy up here. I try to bring it down a little here to give balance. But I can get loud, as some of you know also. One of the pieces, well, let me just start by saying that one of Robert's legacies, besides, of course, CFE and Foundation Aid formula, is that he inspired a generation of parent activists. And that is you. He showed us by literally going the distance. I don't know how he didn't talk about 150 miles walking to Albany, but he literally showed us that when people say you can't, when people want to shut you down because you're just a parent, that you keep pushing and you make sure that you remember that what's at stake is our children's education. And as a parent activist, I am so proud that I was mentored by him and to be alongside all of you continuing to fight this fight on behalf of our children. What's unfortunate is in every election process cycle, I hear very little about education. I hear very little about the importance that there are families that move to neighborhoods based on the school. There are families that make key decisions on where they're going to work based on the quality of that school. Strong schools build strong neighborhoods. And that means that parents getting involved, parent engagement, parent involvement, parent empowerment is key to building our neighborhood, building our city, building our state, and I dare say building our nation. And that's how important we are. And I know that this is just the beginning. This is just another clog in the journey of making sure that next time around, every elected official knows that they better answer to the parents, that we are not to be shut down, we are not to be shut out, and our voices are not to be quieted down. And so I am here to tell you that I am, I'd say, a spinoff of the old block, legacy, Robert Jackson. But I am here with you because I know you are here with me, because when you speak, you're not just speaking for your kids. You're speaking for my kids. And you're speaking for tomorrow's kids. And that is why no one can never afford to not speak for education and for our kids. Some of the injustices that are going on, and there are many injustices when it comes to public education, is how there are corporations and there are hedge funds that want to move quickly and privatize public education. And that's part of the resistance. I always say that parents are actually number one. We were the number one in the resistance movement because when you get into parent associations, you're resisting. So I would be remiss not to mention opt-out. Opting out out is key to communicating the power that parents have in saying no to the privateers, to corporations, to hedge funds, dictating that our children's public education is nothing more than the bottom line of profit. Our kids' education is not for sale. And when we opt out, we are saying, you're not gonna get our data, you're not gonna get our numbers, we're not gonna fit into your bottom line and your wallet. That is a true equalizer so that our children can finally get the education they deserve in the classroom by true educators. So if this sounds like a commercial, it is. I am asking you, opt out. Thank you.